Yeah, check out this oddity. So, as you can see, 5 out of my 6 clients have been going through the cash flow capsulators, all 10 missions, all combat, all interacting with rats, all using my warp drive. They've all got the same outfit, everything. So, this one is giving. I didn't expect this one. This one is giving the spool up sound. Right? And you don't hear the dirty engine sound, right? That I was hearing before when I was reproing it, right? This one, you can hear the dirty sound of the engine, but no spool up. This one is the same. Okay. The others don't have any sound. So we've got 2 without sounds of the bug. So 2 without the bug. I wasn't playing with the audio settings at all. I wasn't turning them off or on. And it wasn't doing anything special. Oh, well, except for this one, I was zoomed out to see if I could get, and zoomed in this one, the last few missions. So zoomed out for this one and zoomed in for this one to see if I could repro the bug for this character. Didn't happen. Which is odd, isn't it? And it's not like it's a... it's kind of there, isn't it? This isn't. So there's something there. Whoops. Wrong one. Okay. And of course, this just has the spool up. So I have no explanation why some are just the rumblings, the warblings, and I consider this the warbling too. So why the spool up and why the engine sound, the dirty engine sound? So yeah, very odd. No explanation. And you'd think they would have all the same, like, I was expecting them all to have the same bug, but apparently not, which I have no explanation for, unfortunately. You know, it's just a really shitty game, and the people just, you know, it's cosmetic. What do they care, right? And they'll go, oh, it's spaghetti code, but it's like, every gaming company has spaghetti code. That's the way gaming programming works. But to them, it's like, oh, a new novel thing, or a special, you know. We're 20 years old. It can't possibly. And it's like, come on, guys. So there's something very wrong about the sound system. It is annoying. And the only solution is to tamp down the sound as low as possible in hopes that the game respects that. And sometimes we've run into bugs where some switch is tripped, and all of a sudden you might have the slider here, but you hear it at full volume. Haven't encountered it yet, but I wouldn't rule it out. But yeah, my only option, aside from just turning off the bloody sound and playing a soundtrack from, I don't know, I don't care, playlist on, you know, SoundCloud, who cares, right? and not really care about the sound in the game, because turning off the sound solves a hell of a lot of issues that have never been resolved from release, from beta, I'll bet. So it's just not something they care about. And when they do talk about it, oh, it's an easy fix, I'll do it next week. And it just, So some of the sounds get fixed. Like if it's like CCP is a hammer, and as long as we show them a nail, they'll smash that nail. Oh yeah, within hours. That's a fact. So yeah, it'd be nice to show them a nail, but I haven't been able to repro why these two characters were silent. These two characters had the engine grumbling, and this one had the spool up. It's like, I said, what? Like, I got no answers. It's interesting if there was a way to like, one stands to reason, like, it can't be random. There has to be something I did differently, either zoomed in or zoomed out, or something, some interaction I did differently that tripped it up. Now, I noticed this about halfway through. Like, okay, I can hear the bug, but I'm wondering if there's a specific dead space that triggers the bug, right? What kind of specific type of dead space triggers the bug? If you do a certain action, it'll do the spool up or the dirty engine sound or nothing. But I've been able to reliably repro the perma bug, like the Warbling version 2. So why didn't, right? It's like, I'm like, let's look at it. Let's get serious about it. Oh boy. When's the last time I looked at, like, it's so complicated, right? There were so many facets of that damn reproing that it's been, what, a couple of weeks now, and I've completely forgot all about it, because just turn your brain off and have fun playing the game. Now, I could have forced the warbling by staying over, like I did go AFK watching Noam Chomsky. So maybe if some of them, like, maybe I was a bit too long on field with some of the ships, but not the others, right? So there's the stress test that I know I can force it by overstaying my welcome around some rats. I might have accidentally forgotten. I might have done something with the prop mod, like left it on with the first two, like these two that don't have the sound. I might have left the prop mod on, right, as I warped off out of that specific dead space, right? Or even not, maybe it wasn't a dead space. A lot of these things, you warp to it and there's no dead space. Like, I remember, right, remember the webbing thing that I think 9 of 10 for Soldier of Fortune, you warp to it and there's no acceleration gate, so it's not technically a dead space, right? I wonder, and you do a couple of for this, so if it's not, I'm just guessing here, I'm probably wrong, but whatever. Whatever the case, that specific thing maybe, right? Because if it was with all of them, at some point it would have triggered the bug, right? So, I mean, this is good, because it's not oh, it's just random. Shut up, Muffy. You're going nowhere with this. It's all random and give up. But no, it's, if it was random, then over the 10 missions, eventually, all of the characters would have had the same repro, right? It's weird that you get the spool up with the last one. That was odd. I wasn't able to repro that. I was able to repro the dirty engine sound. But anyways, so I think it happened during a specific mission. That there are specific missions that you do, that you interact with rats in a specific zone. And just one or two, right? And if you leave the prop mod on when you warp off, or just don't turn it on at all, right? It would be a case where the others I would turn the prop mod on and then off, and that would get the bug. Not sure the difference between, the spool up and spool down, which is weird, and then just the dirty engine sounds. But we'll ignore that. So it's got to be a specific site that's doing it. Because otherwise it would be random enough that I'd eventually, I'd get the bug for all of them. I think that's it. But I think it's a good addendum to this, because it's like, yeah, I mean, we had, like, I swore that I'd heard the warble, the spool up at dock, like persistent, but when I tried to repro it, I'd only get the dirty sound. So I'm glad that I've got the two different types of micro warp drive or afterburner sound, either the spool up or the dirty engine sound, which is even more interesting that that both of the sounds are separate. Like, why wouldn't you hear both of them, right? Isn't it odd that you don't hear both of them? You just hear one half of the micro warp drive engine, or in other cases the afterburner, right? Why would you hear one half only of the prop mod at dock and not both? I mean, that's something that you would think a competent bunch of developers would be able to focus on and go, oh, okay, well that doesn't, it's a good question, right? It's not an answer, but right, it's like it helps. Because why wouldn't they be both the same sound, right? Why would the bug choose one or the other and not both? It just sounds odd. So I wouldn't be able to answer it. A programmer, especially at CCP, would, because they've got the sound files, right? You go, why wouldn't it do both? Well, yeah, I mean, if anything I've learned, the one thing I've learned from this, trying to repro this bug, is that it defies expectations of common sense, that the engines of the ship are in no way related to the bug itself, right? It's like, you can turn the sound of the micro warp drives off even if they're on, right? The engines might be on, you've got the power and the speed, but you've turned off the sound by turning off another active module, right? So it's completely divorced from common sense of, the engine should be making a sound, right? As normal, but the game doesn't treat that as normal. It doesn't go, the engines are a special case, they will always have the sound when the prop mod is on, right? But that's not true. So you have to chuck all your expectations about what this bug is about, because otherwise you're going to get fooled into thinking it's something it's not. And if you divorce yourself and abstract that enough, the fact that it allowed them to do the dirty sound or the spool up sound at dock, or either or, not both, is something that should be focused on instead of going, oh well, it's just random. And it might be random. It might seem random, but why is it random? Like, why isn't it both? Right? Because we can answer the fact that these two, like, here's the thing. Let's look at it a third way. What if, and I don't think so, because but it can be very subjective in assessing this, right? Because these two, the prop mod I left on. Okay? These two, I left the prop mod on. These two, potentially, like, I'm probably wrong on this, but potentially, I could have not turned the prop mod on at all for these two. And the lesser sound is just the engine rumbling. I don't think so. I don't think I ever heard the spool up. But the spool up sound is a lot more noticeable and louder, right? So the loudness, I could have, when I was analyzing it, these two could have been actually less voluminous, but the dirty engine sounds and the spool up, I might just have not realized with the spool up sound and just heard engine, right? So this could easily, like, assuming I'm right, but I don't think so, could easily be original way. And like, say, let's, for sake of argument, say Major Domo right here, left the prop mod on. Seneche left the prop mod on, but turned on something and then deactivated something manually. I had to deactivate it manually for some reason. Maybe I was trying to change ammo, right? Or something like that, right? This one, Hereticus, could have didn't turn the prop mod on at all, right? And then Rain could have turn the prop mod on, then off, and also I changed ammo by manually turning off an active missile launcher, right? And Minor Freak, who's got this one, you can still hear the bloody thing after that foghorn of a frickin' station sound. So you can hear that. Was doing it the original way of, right? You just turn on and then off the prop mod and then not touch the active other modules. And that's how it happened. The original way when I was, right? When I first rep wrote it. So it's possible that I'm reliably reproing it. I just misunderstood in the past the different levels of decibel, saying, oh, it's louder, but in not realizing that, no, it's not the same sound, it's the other prop mod sound, right? The two combined, right? So it could be that. And that would be interesting, because if that's true, and we're assuming a lot here, because I haven't gone back and listened to the thing, because I don't freaking want to. But at least I know now, right? And knowing I'll be able to, hopefully in the future, spot it when it happens and go, oh yeah, I did do that, and yes, that sound is different because yada yada yada, right? So the question is, this would turn on the spool up when you're docked, and these two would just do the dirty sound. Which one, like you could see it, like you didn't actually. This one, you never got the spool up. This one, you got the spool up, but then you got the spool down sound. I'm just babbling, aren't I? Jesus. Yeah, I'm not, like, this is way above my pay grade right now, like trying to describe what possible reason the spool up would happen here, but you wouldn't hear it here, but you'd hear the dirty engine sound, but you wouldn't hear the dirty engine sound here, which is like, huh? That's way above my pay grade right now. But at least I'm at the point, you know, I've gotten to the point of, does this look like a nail, right? For a CCP to go, durr. Yeah. Anyways, you know, good luck to us, right? That would be awesome if we could show them a nail and they can hammer it. That'd be awesome, but yeah, if wishes were horses, beggars would ride.